All right. So here we are back. Welcome everybody. We're back with another episode of Super Spuddies, Spud Fit Super Spuddies, and another special one for you today. We're talking to Nicola Potter. So sit back and relax, and let's enjoy Nicola's story. And I hope it's inspiring and helpful to you. So thank you for joining us, Nic. Is it okay if I call you Nic?
Yep, that's fine. Nic's
All right,
perfect.
No worries. Thanks for joining us, Nic. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm really good. Thank you. Thank you for having me on your channel.
No worries. So tell us a little bit about yourself first of all, but also,
Yeah.
how did you get yourself in a position where where here we are today talking?
Yeah, so I'm 42. I'm a mom of two kids. I live in Brisbane and I work for an aged care company. I'm a recruiter, so I'm really busy. And yeah, I've literally spent probably 41 years of my life on diets. Well, it feels like it anyway. I was born in the UK and then I moved over here about 15 years ago. So I consider myself Australian now, and I have tried all the diets in the world. High fat, low carb, counting points, juice diets, you name it, I did it. And I just got to the point when when I turned 40, I just started to get all these health issues, and it was just constant doctor's visits, to be honest with you. And I was really worried at one stage, well, quite a few times. And there was lots happening in my life, and I couldn't believe at 40 I was put on blood pressure tablets and other things that were going on. And I tried everything to try and eat well, to try and reverse, the blood pressure problem. I knew losing weight would help, but everything I tried, I would restrict, I'd binge. I would then be back, be good in the week, and then, be back on the Friday night, having drinks, having extra food.
For me too.
Yeah, I might have lost a kilo or in the week, and I'll be like, well, I've got to praise myself now. I've got to have that reward, and I deserve this. Let's get the wine out. Let's get the hot chips out with all the oil, and get cakes, and then it would just be one night. I promised myself, no, it's just going to be one night. And then one night led to the whole weekend, because then I might as well be bad again, because it's the weekend, and one more day. And then before you know it, you get on the scales on Monday morning and there you are. Oh wow, I'm 2 kilos, 3 kilos heavier. And it would be like that my whole life. And I guess it started when I was a kid. Like, I've always been overweight as a kid, and even my parents, they told me there was a time where I actually got investigated by a child support, because they thought, because I was overweight, I was being abused. And yeah, they actually, apparently, I don't remember it, I was really young, but I was always overweight as a kid and struggled, and and then as a kid you get bullied, and it's not very nice. And I wasn't very sporty. I just loved eating food, and I just didn't understand why I couldn't lose the weight. And then I guess, yeah, so lots of health issues last year. I had heart palpitations. I actually thought I was having a heart attack at one stage. I went to the hospital. My poor partner, he drove me there, and he probably thought, oh, it's all in your head, don't be silly, you'll be fine. And I was like, oh, I just have this racing heart constantly, and I didn't understand it. My blood pressure was high, and obviously the more I worried, the more my blood pressure went up. I had like a frozen shoulder where it just hurt to sleep, so I wasn't sleeping well. It was just everything I tried, physio, nothing would really work. And I was just like, well, I don't know what to do. I'm 41 then. I can't, what am I going to be like in 10 years time? And I honestly thought that I was just on a road to sort of either dying or having, more problems come my way. And I was worried about the kids being on their own and, what would happen. And yeah, it was just really scary. And I've been a vegetarian for about 10 years. And I did try go vegan before my daughter was born 10 years ago. And yeah, I loved it. It was really good. And then as soon as she was born, I got onto the dairy and I started eating all the fat. I had, asthma, eczema. And I was back into my old ways, and it took me 9 years. And I knew what worked. I really did. It's just, I don't know what, nothing would, then I suppose with lockdown last year, I listened to so many books online, audio books, and I went through them all, and all these health books, revisited quite a few that I've already read, because I knew what the answer was. I knew it was what I was eating. I just
it's really
I needed to.
I find it really interesting that sort of thing. Sorry I just had to stop you there, because it's a really common experience, and so much of your story resonates with me, because it's just mirrors my own story, like right back to the bullying as a kid for being overweight, and the shoulder pain that you had. I have shoulder pain too from old football injuries. I don't anymore, but I did. And trying all sorts of diets, and that last bit you said about that you knew what to eat, because I did too, and I think most people do. And and I think about it in the same way that a cigarette smoker knows that they shouldn't be smoking, and most cigarette smokers that I encounter, most of them are actually trying to quit. They want to quit, but they can't. And in the same way, you and I knew that what we should be eating, and we knew that the pizza is hurting us. Why can't we quit the pizza?
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, I just wanted to, sorry to interrupt you there, but
exactly.
So much of what you're saying is my story as well. So keep going.
And I think, I was just going to say that hearing your story. So what happened anyway? Last August, I was in hospital just for the day. They checked me over. Everything was fine. They said it was all in my head. And I was like, I know the feeling I feel, and I know I have a little bit of anxiety, but it was out the roof. And that was after having quite a few drinks of alcohol. I say a few drinks. I was never a big drinker. So from that day, I decided I'm not drinking alcohol anymore. And I not that I was a big drinker, but it was massive for me, because it's when I drink alcohol, I eat bad food as well. So I was like, no, I'm going to stop this. And then about November time, that's when I came across the starch solution, even though I had the book on my shelf since 10 years prior, when I first went vegan. And I was like, I suppose I better read this, and I read the starch solution, and I was like, wow, why didn't I read this before? Well, I can eat potatoes. And then I started going on YouTube and Googling about, YouTubing, the potato diet, the starch solution. And I watched Dr. John McDougall's conference that you did, and it was like a talk you presented. And that was it for me. I was like, oh, he's so normal. And I mean, it's different when a doctor's saying that. You're like, yeah, of course, do you actually stick to it? Do you for all I know, he could eat cake and eat pizza behind closed doors. You just don't, and I thought, well, yeah, okay. So then, after I watched the whole hour of your your talk, and it just made me feel like, whoa, that's exactly like me. You can give up alcohol, you can give up smoking, but you can't give up food. And I think you were saying how you started your diet, and then you would be really good, and then 2 or 3 weeks in, you're like, let's order pizza. And and then you said that after that, then you fell off, and then you would be depressed about it. You'd self-sabotage, and you couldn't understand why just eating a bowl of salad, why am I wanting to binge after that salad? And then when I got onto your channel, I think I started from the bottom and I watched every video.
Oh, cool.
I binge watched your videos,
Yeah.
and I felt like I was some crazy stalker just binge watching. And I watched them all, and just, you know, seeing the difference from the first video to, well, you know, back there, you know, I think it was December time. So then, you know, that's when I found your Facebook group and, you know, started to be like on the side, just, well, okay, I'll listen, I'll see what other people are doing, and, you know, just take in what's happening. And I did that for a few weeks, and then I decided, I think it was January the 23rd this year, no, I'm gonna do this, give it a go. Thought I'd only do a week or maybe a day, I wasn't sure, because I knew how hopeless I was at dieting and sticking to things. And then I found myself doing it for, I think it was just nearly 19 weeks of potatoes only.
Yeah, wow.
So
Amazing. What a journey. And yeah, it's like I said already, so much of it is along the lines of what I went through as well. So a lot of things that people, well, one of the big things that people struggle with is a lot of people go through, you know, similar experiences, and then, you know, there's a lot of people currently in our Facebook group who are not, you know, they're just like you, they're just observing, and and they're just, you know, should I, shouldn't I, will I, won't I, how will this work, can I, you know, all these sorts of things, and all these questions going through their mind about, you know, whether they can or can't, and etc. How did you go from that, you know, stage of contemplation to actually going, yeah, I'm doing this? What was that process like for you?
I guess what's held me back quite a bit at first was what people would think about me. You know, you can't just do that. Oh, that's not healthy. Those kind of, like, what are the people going to think about me? Are they going to be, you know, mean? And how am I going to fit it into my life? That was my biggest thing. And I guess at that point, I had nothing else to try. So it was now or never, I think. And I just decided, well, take it one day at a time, you know, see how you go. Just because it's a 30-day challenge doesn't mean you have to do, you know, you can do one day and see how you feel. And I just thought, no, I've got to do this for my health, my blood pressure. Like I said, I was good just before Christmas, and then Christmas hit, and I think I had 3 weeks of eating junk again. So the new year I decided was going to be, right, I'm going to go plant-based. I knew that. I knew what was right. The hardest thing was giving up cheese, because being a vegetarian, you kind of like live on cheese, because, you know, it's just like was what I normally had, you know, a cheese sandwich or, you know, pizza with cheese on. And then I just decided, no, I'm going to give it a go. I don't care what people think. At the end of the day, I can always give it up if, you know, it doesn't suit me, or if I, you know, decide that it isn't right for me, or you know, my doctor's got concerns. And I did mention it to my doctor, and I didn't want to say I'm just going to eat potatoes only, because I felt like he was going to laugh at me. I said, oh, you know, I'm thinking about doing this, you know, diet where you just mainly eat potatoes. And I didn't go into detail. I lied a little bit. He's like, oh, okay, that's fine. Do what you want to do. You should be fine. Just because I was having blood tests every 3 months anyway, because my iron levels were really low. And so I was already getting my blood tests done, so I had something to compare to. So that was pretty awesome. And the next time I did my blood test, while I was doing potatoes only twice, I think I had 2 blood tests, like my iron went up. And I was like, and he couldn't believe my results. He was like, whoa, you know, a bit like your blood test that you got done on your videos when you were doing it for the year. And I was like, oh, it's going up. And you know, I was not eating greens or anything like that. I was just eating potatoes. And he was saying, well, you know, and I was taking an iron supplement too. So, you know, that obviously helped. And I think that the iron problem was causing the heart palpitations and the food in general. Like, my iron was so seriously low that it wasn't funny. But yeah, and my iron is still low compared to what it should be, but every time I have my blood test now, it's going up and up, and it's going in the right direction. And I think I've lost now.
Sorry.
No, I was just going to say I lost 15 kilos so far.
15 kilos, nice.
And
that's 30,
so I mean, I've still
30. What would that be?
About 33 pounds.
33 pounds for the
about
American.
That, yeah.
Yeah, amazing. And the iron
got 10 to go.
Sorry.
Got 10 kilos to go still.
Okay, all right. So hopefully by the end of the year.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
yeah.
Exactly. And I'm not putting a time frame on it. You know, like, weight loss should be slow. And I guess the problem is previous diets, you expect it to be really quickly. And it's not. It, you know, it goes up, it goes down, you know, that's what weight loss should be. It shouldn't be a perfect straight line. And that's taught me a lot, to have patience and to have faith in the actual, you know, the Spud program, and to eat potatoes, because it will eventually come down.
Yeah, isn't it nice to get to that point where you're just comfortable in the process, and you're comfortable with, you know, the ups and downs, and you're trusting and have faith in what you're trying to do, and you know, you're not second guessing yourself anymore. You're not thinking, oh, maybe this is working, maybe this is not, maybe I should try this or that, or maybe I could tweak it here or tweak it there. And you know, you settle in and you get comfortable, and you just go through the motions, and you know, you just get comfortable with, you know, the mundanity of repetitive eating, and you allow, you know, your enjoyment to come from other parts of life, and you know, you stop relying on food for that entertainment and emotional support. I think it's a big deal. And on the iron, I just wanted to comment a little bit more on the iron, because that was one of the, you know, the experts, the so-called experts, that would criticize me when I initially did this. Was one of them was about, you're not going to get enough iron. And I always thought that was funny, because in my research that I did, it showed that I'd be getting more than enough iron. And I was, from memory, I haven't looked at the numbers for a long time, but I think it was over 400% of my daily iron requirements was met by eating only potato. So there's two things typically with iron problems. Is number one is that you've most likely, if you're low in iron, most likely you've got some sort of digestion issue. Whether your digestive system is actually leaking blood, or you just can't absorb it properly, or something like that. And then the second possibility, which is less likely, is that you're actually not eating enough iron. So eating only potatoes, you're probably solving both of those problems. They're really good for your digestive system, good for your gut bacteria, probably healing the intestine walls, so you're not leaking out blood. So you're not leaking blood, but you're also absorbing it properly. And of course you're getting enough. And to go to my own blood test results, I remember one of the bloods, I can't remember exactly which one, but my doctor said to me after one of my blood test results came back, he said that if I was a Tour de France cyclist, then I was almost, not quite, but almost at the point with the oxygen carrying capacity of my blood through my iron levels was almost at the level where they would start suspecting me of blood doping if I was an elite athlete. That's how good it was. So I think yours will keep getting better too, and you know, just keep having faith in that.
And the blood pressure thing, like the blood pressure, I was on blood pressure tablets, and then the first week of starting potatoes only, it went down to normal. The doctor got me to halve my tablet each day. Within a week. And then within a month, he said, I want you to have your blood pressure tablet every other day. Which I'm still on. And he did say to me, I can come off it. I guess I'm just a bit, I don't know, I get a bit nervous, you know, like, well, shouldn't I? But every time I do it, it's normal. And it's like 110 over 70 or 106 over. And before it was like 140 over 100 before I, even on blood pressure medicine. I was always saying to people, why didn't my doctor prescribe me potatoes? Why did he prescribe me blood pressure medicine? Like, it's just crazy. And like I know like potatoes don't make money for the, for the doctors, obviously being healthy doesn't make money, and it's true, and it's just like
I think
simple.
I think most doctors out there, they've got the best intentions at heart, and they really want to do the right thing for their patients. But if you don't know, you don't know. And I regularly hear from doctors myself. Like I regularly hear from doctors in the email. Like one emailed me a few days ago who was having his own weight struggles and didn't, he had his own blood pressure problems that how can he didn't know how to solve his own, let alone solve his patients. And he tried a Spud Fit challenge, and I didn't hear from him until I never knew anything of him at all until he'd been eating only potatoes for 6 weeks and had lost a heap of weight and got off his own blood pressure medication and all those sorts of things. And and so it's cool that I've been able to educate doctors in that way, but you are in the process of educating your own doctor as well. And maybe because of him or her, sorry, you didn't say, I shouldn't have.
Him.
That's I shouldn't have assumed that. But anyway, because he has had this experience with you, maybe next time he has someone with a blood pressure problem, maybe he says, hey, you should try eating more potatoes. Maybe you're the ripple effect of what you've done is going to expand in that way as well.
He did say my blood test I had done, I think it was 2 weeks ago. He said that he has not seen a blood test as healthy as mine in probably quite a while.
Oh, wow.
And he also said that I told him I was down to, I think then I was 81 kgs. He says that, he goes, oh, just to let you know, this time last year you were 97 kilos.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, oh, and he goes, oh, you're doing really well. Keep it up.
Yeah.
Just keep doing what you're doing. And, he could look at the results and say, and I joked, I said, oh, is there any diabetes on the way? Or he goes, oh, and he just laughed. He goes, oh, no, Nicola, not even close.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
So, so that was really good. But no, I'm obviously I still got a bit to go, and I'm still having mainly potatoes, but adding some, fruits and veggies and rice now.
Yeah, so that was going to be my next question. I'm glad you said that, because you did 19 weeks, was it, you said?
Just under 19 weeks. Yeah.
And then people obviously want to know, what happens next. So can you tell us a little bit more about, maybe run us through a typical day? I know probably every day is a little bit different, but give us a typical day of what you would eat.
So I'm pretty much, I'm like this in most of my life. I stick to something and I have the same routine. I'm pretty boring, like I wake up, I have my oats, or I might even have, like this morning I had air fried potatoes. So the air fryer was a game changer. It just was great to have potatoes done in, like chips in the air fryer. So I tend to either have the oats with the fruit and maybe a bowl of broccoli, and I'm trying to be careful with oats because I've read somewhere that they are higher in fat. So,
they're a little bit higher in fat, but they're still a very they're a little bit more calorie dense than your potatoes or your rice. But they're still an excellent whole food that
definitely
shouldn't be
but they're easy
for some people
to eat.
Exactly, that's the next thing I was going to say. For some people it is a little bit easier to overeat when you're eating oats than it is when you're eating potatoes, for example. So it's just I never tell anyone to avoid oats. I think they're good and they're healthy. But at the same time, that there are personal differences, and it's worth
exactly.
Just keep an eye on it.
And I never gave up coffee, which I know certain, McDougall does say no caffeine. I'm like, well, I've got to choose my battles. At the end of the day, I knew that wasn't the problem. It's not like I have 5 a day. It's just 1 a day. I have to buy it from the shop. I don't make it. So I'm a coffee snob. And then I tend to, I might take a banana to work, and then I have some rice for lunch just with some veggies, and then dinner's always potatoes, always.
Right.
Like simple, and simple works for me.
Yeah.
If I get too, I don't know, involved and, I'm going to, into recipes and stuff, that's when I start falling off the wagon. So keep it simple, keep it like low fat, high carb. And obviously, I bought the Mega Foods plan too. So I was going to go through that and look at some of the recipes in, online that I've got access to. So that's great. Thank you for that. But yeah, I'm just going to keep it simple, kind of like starch solution based. Yeah. But with coffee.
Yeah. Well, on the coffee, I tend, there is sort of conflicting advice about coffee around where, some people say it's great and some people say it's not. I tend to lean to the side that, you might be better off without coffee, but I don't think it's a big deal. But more important than that, I think is when you get to the point where coffee is the worst thing that you're doing, then no matter what, you're doing really, really well,
Yeah.
So,
that's
not
how I
something
see
to worry
it.
about.
Yeah, I know. And sometimes I must admit I have like vegan mayo with my chips at night, and I'm like, stop it, because it's so good. And that's probably one of my downfalls, that I need to get out of that habit before, because it's only a little bit. I do have tomato sauce. And I love tomato sauce, but sometimes you can overdo it, I think. And I know in your videos towards the end you cut out sauces, didn't you? Because you found that it might make a difference.
Yeah, I think when you're getting closer to your goal weight like you are, you don't have that far to go. That's when you might need to start tweaking things a little bit. I think in the beginning it's important that you allow yourself a little bit of sauce and things like that, just to help you. We don't want to make this the impossible mission. We want to make it something that is doable, but at the same time, just to get off that last 10 kilos, the last 5 kilos, whatever, then you might need to just push the boundaries a little bit more.
Exactly.
But that's and the vegan mayo, that's another thing that's not going to help you get the last 10 kilos off.
No, exactly. So I'm going to try and put that in the back of my mind. But it's, apart from that, those are my only real downfalls. But I guess, compared to what I was eating, it's completely different. I just, we were having takeaways 3 or 4 times a week. And then when I went to potatoes only, because I think I was spending about $200 a week on takeaways. And I just could not stop eating junk. And then when I went to potatoes only, I think my first week it cost me $25 or $30 for a potato. I was like, wow, not only am I losing weight, I'm actually saving money too. Like, how cheap is this way of eating? And I probably saved about $2,000 just eating the right foods. But everyone thinks eating healthy is so expensive. Well, it's not. It's so cheap,
The cheapest foods in the world are the healthiest ones. Potatoes, rice, beans, oats, like we talked about. These are the healthiest and the cheapest. So that's great. I know when I was eating only potatoes, and I have a couple of times since, but I can eat a lot. I'm a big eater. And I can easily survive on $5 a day or less, It's easy. So
and like everyone at work was saying, oh, I've always inspired them to move as well and to eat well, and I keep telling everyone to come to your Facebook group, and I started my own channel too, vlogging my progress too. And
that's the next thing I was going to ask you about, because you mentioned moving there briefly, and
sorry about the sun.
No, that's all right. It's all good. Well, in the Spud Fit challenge and in Spud Fit in general, I try not to focus too much on exercise. I do think it's a very important thing, but I just think when you want to make big changes, it's hard enough to change your diet without having to worry about changing your exercise as well. So I always tell people, just focus on diet. Let's just get the diet right. Start with that. And then when you're in a position where you're feeling really good and your energy's up and you're feeling like, you're bouncing off the wall a bit and you want to get moving, then it's time to start worry about how you move and getting fit like that.
Definitely.
And
Because
I've
when
enjoyed watching that sort of process that you've gone through, and you've even started recording it now as well and sharing it. So yeah, you
putting
mentioned
it on
your
the
channel,
whole
so
world
now's
to
the time
see.
to tell us all about that. Nic Gets Fit, right?
Yeah, so it's Nic Gets Fit if anyone's interested. So I started vlogging my journey, my weight loss journey, and it really started because everyone at work said, well, you should. Well, they didn't say I should go on YouTube, but they said, you're so inspiring. You should tell more people about this and your journey. And I just thought, wow, yeah, that could be a little hobby, because I have my kids week on and week off, and my partner, he drives trucks around Australia. So I was like, oh, this will give me something, to get my teeth in and to try and help others really going through the same issues that I went through, and just, putting it out there really, and just having a community of like-minded people around me. So, and being accountable. So yeah, it's Nic Gets Fit. It's my channel.
Yeah, great. And you share what you're eating on there. You share how you're moving, and you share your general thoughts about the whole thing. And I think it's great that we talked about the ripple effect before, where you've had that positive impact on your doctor, hopefully, and this is anything you can do like that can help inspire other people to make positive change, I think is worthwhile doing. So, and I've watched a couple of your videos and I've loved them, and I don't watch much YouTube. I don't really have much time for it, but I have watched some of your videos, and I think you're doing a great job, and everyone who's watching would do well to subscribe to your channel too.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I mean, I tell everyone, like, I feel like it sounds really corny, but I owe you like my life in some ways, because I just feel that if I hadn't have seen your video, I could have done the starch solution on its own and probably lost a bit of weight, but seeing a normal Aussie that just says it how it is, and there's just everyday person that had the same struggles, you can really relate to that. And I can't thank you enough, you and your wife. It's great seeing, being part of a community and just having somewhere to go to get ideas and just to be around like-minded people, really. So thank you.
Thank you very much. It's very kind of you. And I should do interviews like this every day just to give myself a little ego boost, and have me flying right through to bedtime. That's great. Thank you.
No, really, it's great. No, it's awesome. And going back to the exercise thing, the first day I started Spud Fit in January, I actually twisted because I was quite active anyway, but I'd never lose weight by just being active. I do like gym sessions and cycling, but it's obviously what you eat. It's not what you exercise to how to lose weight. Obviously, it helps, like you said, mentally and physically. It tones everything up when you get to the point that you're ready to do that. But I twisted and I sprained my ankle the first day I started doing potatoes only in January, and I couldn't move for about 3 or 4 weeks. And I still lost quite a bit of weight in that month. So it's definitely all down to diet and what we eat, and obviously moving helps with the mind and how tones everything up. But it definitely has to be done in the kitchen.
Yeah, well, that's a perfect illustration. I didn't realize you'd had that injury trouble.
Yeah,
that's a perfect illustration that it's all about what goes in your mouth. And I'm glad you touched on that with exercise too. To me, exercise is fantastic. Exercise is important. In the beginning, forget about it, but in time, I think everyone should have an exercise focus. It's great for your cardiovascular system, your muscular system, your skeletal system. Basically, every system in your body is benefited by doing some exercise. But to me, the most important of all aspects of exercise is that it's good for your mental health. And I know from my own experience, I'm just in general a better person if I've been exercising that day, and I'm more fun to be around. I'm more loving. I'm more caring. I'm more empathetic. All of those good qualities that you want I display them more, and I can feel it in myself if I've been exercising that day. And how does it affect you? Because you
Yeah,
mentioned
definitely.
anxiety
And
earlier, you know, you mentioned your own
yeah,
little struggles, and you know, does this sort of help you?
just I think eating potatoes only as well has been great for my anxiety. Sorry about the afternoon sun; it's a bit.
That's fine. No, don't worry
um,
about it. Yeah.
and yeah, it's been great for my anxiety, and just I think eating low fat in general is really good because you actually, when you're not eating fats as much, I feel like you want to go for a walk. You don't have to, but I feel like oh no, you've got more energy. And I think I remember you saying that you had all this energy, you found yourself pacing in the house. And I do that at times. I'm walking up and down the corridor and I'm like, why can't I just sit down? And, you have this
Yeah.
energy. And I've been sleeping better, which obviously sleep is so important. And you wake up and you like, have a good night's sleep, you feel better. And I have early nights now. I don't stay up really late because I really I know how important sleep is. And then I'll probably either go to the gym or do a walk on the treadmill, but I don't exercise that much. It's more just to feel good. And yeah, it does make you feel good. Your mind, you feel like doing more. You feel like a better mom. You feel like a better person, a better partner.
Yeah.
I'm probably better at my job because I'm in a better mood in general. So yeah, definitely productive all around. It all comes in really, having the right sleep, the right food, and a little bit of exercise, I would say, is what helps.
Definitely. I think, it's good that you mentioned sleep too. If there's a chink in my health armor, it's the sleep, and it's not that I'm not able to get good quality sleep.
Yeah.
Like, if the time was available for me and I didn't have,
Yeah.
other things going on in there, that's probably to an extent there's
Yeah.
excuses going on there, and certain habits and whatever. But
Yeah.
if I was able to figure it out, my body would let me have good deep quality
Yeah.
sleep and all of that. It's just that's the final frontier as far as my own health journey is concerned. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's important too. So what sort of advice would you have if someone's watching this and they're yet to make any changes for themselves, but obviously if they're watching this, they're thinking about it and they're wishing and hoping, and
Yeah.
they want something
Well,
you've got.
yeah, well, I was just speaking to one of my best mates today. She's going through a bit of health problems. She's, obviously got the weight to lose. She's a smoker, wants to give up, like there's lots of things going on in her life. She's got really bad arthritis. And I basically said, like since starting, this starch-based diet, I haven't had any problems with my shoulder. It's like you said, it just almost just disappeared, and I don't get aches and pains as much. Obviously, I'm in my 40s now, so I'm going to get some aches and pains. But I just think anyone out there, they're always, you are worried. You're worried what people will think, especially people that probably aren't already vegans or plant-based. They might be like, oh, what are people going to think of me not eating? But I honestly think just jump in and do it. The older you get, the more problems you're going to have. And if you want to, just start. It's simple. It's so easy. Everyone thinks, oh, don't you get bored of potatoes only? It was the opposite. I actually couldn't wait to have my bowl of mashed potato at night. I couldn't wait. I was excited, and it was like, well, you're in 17, 18 weeks and you're still getting excited about potatoes. And I couldn't explain it. I was like, it might be boring to you, but to me it's fuel, and it's keeping me full. It's stopping those cravings. Like I don't have any cravings anymore. I don't have like the junk, the cakes, the ice creams. I used to always crave that stuff. I don't crave that. And if I do have any cravings, which is very rare, I just go and have some potatoes. Simple.
It's amazing how just eating potatoes. Okay, for some people, they're not going to enjoy their potatoes like you do, but more important than that, I think, is you found a way to let food fuel your best life rather than distracting you from it. This eating the way you used to was a big distraction from living your life and getting the most out of what you want to do. And now, you get to eat mashed potatoes for dinner every day. Plus, you get to enjoy this great new life that you've got. And
I know.
I couldn't have said it better. Just get started. It's no big deal.
I know.
It feels like a big deal, but it's just not. Just get started. Eat potatoes.
Definitely.
See what happens.
And it's so cheap. It's so easy. All you have to worry about is how to have your potatoes for that, lunch, breakfast, or dinner. You don't have. That's the only issue you have. Well, how should I have my potatoes this morning? And generally, you find out which way you like your potatoes, and you stick to it. And it's not rocket science. It works. And I remember taking my bowl of baked potatoes to work, and one of the managers came into the room, and he was like, "Oh, carbs. I feel like I've just put 5 kilos on by looking at your bowl of potatoes." I'm like, "Well, actually, I've lost 10 kilos. And this was a while ago." And he was like, "What, eating carbs?" And I was like, "Yeah, but people just don't, they think carbs are bad, but it's not. It's what you put on them that gives them the poor potato.
Yeah.
It's given a bad name just because of the oils and the cheese that you put on there." And, and I was probably one of these people that thought that, but just give it a go, try it, and take each day as it comes. And, you'll be amazed how easy it is and simple, and it works.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's I hope people that are watching this are getting inspired and going to actually take action. It's good to watch. It's good to listen. It's good to learn from Nicole and from myself. Sorry, from Nicola and from myself.
Yeah.
It's really good, and I hope everyone's paying attention. But more important than anything is just to take action, just get started, just do something, and move. What is it? There's a saying. It's more is lost from inaction from indecision than from decision. So make the decision, get started, and take action. So that's probably a good. Sorry, go.
And I was just going to say, and I think you said not so long ago, I'd worry more about what you don't eat than worry about more what you don't eat than what you do eat, or something like that. So
what you don't eat is far more important than what you do eat. So
that's
try not to get stuck in the details and just get cracking.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, I think that's a good place to end it. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your wisdom and your experience. And everybody, I hope, tell us your YouTube channel again, Nic Gets Fit.
Nic Gets Fit, and it's NIC Gets Fit. So Nic Gets Fit.
All right. So go and look that up and cheer Nic along on her journey. And thank you for joining us. And
thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
All right. Spud up, everybody.